Perhaps you have heard of B Corps in the US. Climate Action Now, which makes a phone app for climate activists, is a B Corp. Basically, it's a private business, but its first priority is not to make money, but rather to promote a social good, in this case, climate advocacy. In China, where registering a nonprofit or non-governmental organization is difficult, social enterprises commonly play a similar role, prioritizing social and environmental objectives over profit. I was familiar with this form of organization because one of my MS students formed his own social enterprise to promote educational exchange in China. But until recently, I had not realized that in addition to hybrid private business nonprofit organizations, there are also hybrid government nonprofit organizations. They are called government-organized non-governmental organizations, or GO NGOs, as opposed to grassroots NGOs. I was surprised to discover that I actually collaborated with a Chinese GO NGO, the Center for Environmental Education and Communication, which at the time I had thought was simply a government agency. What could this hybrid form of organization, somewhere between civil society and government, look like? And what could GO NGOs contribute to addressing the climate crisis? It turns out that the Center for Environmental Education and Communication was created to promote public education and provide information to its parent organization, the Chinese State Environmental Protection Administration. By creating the center, the government can promote environmental education and lead its development in China. Some GO NGOs have been created in response to international pressure and to leverage international funding. We're all familiar with China's giant pandas and that they eat only bamboo. But you might not have known that the Chinese government established the GO NGO, China Wildlife Conservation Association, when the international community expressed concern about a bamboo shortage. Since its founding, the China Wildlife Conservation Association has participated in international NGO meetings and has formed partnerships with transnational NGOs, including International Fund for Animal Welfare and Wildlife Conservation Society. These partnerships help China better implement conservation measures while also spreading messages about conservation in China to a global audience. Although both grassroots and GO NGOs get involved in litigation against polluters, the GO NGOs often have more human and financial resources to bring such legal suits, given their support from and collaboration with the government. Similarly, compared to grassroots NGOs, GO NGOs often have greater influence on policy, given their ongoing communications and trusting relationships with government officials. So how might we characterize GO NGOs? GO NGOs purposely mimic Western grassroots NGOs in structure and style, but they are created and controlled by the state. And from the autocratic government's perspective, GO NGOs represent a strategic response to the rise of NGOs in countries with a more open civil society. Regardless of whether they operate in an autocracy or democracy, NGOs, both government and grassroots, form coalitions that enable them to share resources and expertise. Sometimes these coalitions also include social enterprises, businesses, and universities, as well as government officials. In democracies, coalitions are not just a more effective means of advocacy compared to lone organization, but also are a means of strengthening civil society. Although there has been some resistance in China to coalitions because of the government's wariness of a strong civil society, the government has been more open to a strong NGO presence in the environment compared to other sectors. Coalitions of environmental organizations in China are tolerated because they share and promote the government's environmental agenda. One such coalition is the Zero Waste Alliance, which was created in 2012 by activists concerned about the government's waste incineration policy. 6 years later, Zero Waste Alliance consisted of 64 environmental NGOs, 6 companies, and 23 individuals from across China. The Alliance educates the public on waste sorting, builds members' organizational capacity, advocates for green waste management policies, and makes policy recommendations to the Chinese government. One Zero Waste Alliance member described how, by working together, the Alliance NGOs were able to counteract forceful lobbying on the part of the incineration industry. They said, the incineration industry force was huge, so we had to be able to act collectively. If you want to get into the policy battle in this field, you need capacity and strength. When you're just a handful of NGOs, while there are projects of several hundred million RMB on the other side, people won't even listen to you. You have to make some noise, you have to have a platform, and you have to have a sustainable organization that can grow. In short, although government control of NGOs varies, civil society organizations play a major role in environmental advocacy in democracies and autocracies. They often form coalitions to pool money and expertise, enabling them to be even more effective advocates for environmental and climate-friendly policies.